Okay, hier, Gürtel. Gürtel, Gürtel.
Nein, er bleibt dann.
Gürtel.
Good morning and welcome to Munich's Zevenaar Street, where we are happy to be able to bring you a live training session here from the FC Bayern Munich training facilities. You just saw Jerome Boateng walk inside. Don't worry about that. In fact, there's only good news to report about Boateng. Obviously, he's not quite ready to train with the team yet after his injury, but he received very good news from the doctors yesterday. His recovery process is going very well indeed, and he is able to increase the pace of his individual training program. A couple of star players here on your screen, as always, at least in this season. Bayern Munich field quite a few club stars during these national team breaks, some due to retirement, as for instance here Franck Ribéry, others due to past injuries. That refers to Javi Martinez there in the background. You can also see Taski warming up. At the very front is for Rafinha. Here, Franck Ribéry. Probably the best news in the recent weeks that this man is ready to go and has already played. A couple of youth players here on our screen as well to make up for the absence of 10 Bayern players who are traveling the globe with their national teams. We'll go into that a little later on. Again, Philipp Lahm, Sebastian Rode, Rafinha, Javi Martinez, Serdar Taski, all part of this training squad that will conduct a training session today and tomorrow, starting Friday. A couple days off for the squad to spend time with their families to regenerate and recharge the batteries, and it comes really at a perfect time. If you watched the post-match reaction of Saturday's win in Cologne, you will have heard a couple of players comment on how welcome this little break is. Not so much because of the physical break. The players who remained in Munich are still training, and then again the 10 traveling players of course have test matches to play for their national team, some already in qualification matches. Again, I'll go into a little more detail as we progress, but just to be able to switch off from this Bayern mill, from this it seems never-ending circle of important, crucial games. That's what a lot of players appreciate in this break. Here in the front of your screen is Andreas Kornmeier, one of Bayern Munich's physical coaches. He's here with 4, again, youth players to fill in for the absent internationals. And maybe we can go through them now. Of course, Manuel Neuer, Thomas Müller, and Mario Götze are traveling with the German national team. They don't have to travel far. Both of their test games are being played in Germany, and both of those test games are very, very high profile. Proved to be or promised to be very exciting games on Saturday the 26th. One of the biggest European classics, Germany against England in Berlin, and then 3 days later another big European classic, Germany against Italy here in Munich. Those two test games promise to be very exciting and to, I assume, be beneficial for all of those teams. Of course, it is the last national team break before the summer, before the next big tournament, the Euro 2016. Plenty of other test games being held all over the world and all over Europe. Kingsley Coman is traveling with France. He'll play Holland and Russia. Robert Lewandowski will captain the Polish national team against Serbia and Finland. David Alaba also captain, in his case, of the Austrian national team, of course. They play against Albania and Turkey, while Thiago plays for the Spanish national team against Italy and also against Romania. A little more serious are the games that the remaining three players of Bayern Munich have to participate in. It's Mehdi Benatia, who's already in Africa Cup 2017 qualification, and probably the most important games are for our South American players. Arturo Vidal for Chile is going to play against Argentina and Venezuela, and Douglas Costa, who plays for Brazil, obviously, is also in World Cup qualification mode already against Uruguay and Paraguay. So not so much time really to switch off physically from the strain. Really important games, even if some of these games obviously are only test matches, but high-profile games nonetheless. Still, to be able to switch off from the constant circle of crucial games, of final games, is what this man Pep Guardiola welcomes. Following this national team break, Bayern Munich play against Frankfurt on Saturday. That's next Saturday, in about 10 days time, against Frankfurt, a home game. And then we're already looking at very, very busy weeks with the Champions League quarterfinal coming up against Benfica, first in Munich and then in Lisbon within 8 days. That is followed by a midweek do-or-die game in the Bundesliga, not in the Bundesliga, but in Germany at least, in the DFB Cup in Munich against Werder Bremen on April 19th. And a week later already, a possible Champions League semi-final takes place. That is, if Javi Martinez, Franck Ribéry and the others can manage to progress from the Champions League quarter-final against Benfica. Lisbon, Martinez is an interesting prospect. Without wanting to speculate too much, he's been in training for a while, and I know that he's hoping that after this national team break he can gradually begin to regain match practice, to find his rhythm to play a couple of games. Maybe the Frankfurt game is a first opportunity for him to at least make it into the squad. Good news, as I mentioned earlier, already came from Jerome Boateng, who had an examination yesterday with the doctors, and he was told that he can already run outside a little more, train twice a day. Again, good recovery process there. I talked to him earlier, and he said the second leg game against Benfica Lisbon is maybe a little too soon for him. That would be on April 13th, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, a week later, you have the DFB Cup semi-final against Bremen. A week later, you have the Champions League semi-final. Again, a possible Champions League semi-final. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But Boateng is hoping that somewhere between mid and end of April he'll be able to return to the squad, and of course that would be very good news indeed. Here's a big rondo group here. All of the players in one group trying to prevent the men in the center from getting the ball. Let's have a look at this for a couple of minutes time, and then we'll see what other exercises Pep Guardiola and his coaching staff have planned for his team.
Nach dem hohen. Und halb hoch. Flach. Hoch.
Here you can see Bayern Munich's backup goalkeeper at the front of your screen, Sven Ulreich, with goalkeeping coach Toni Tapalovic, and a very young man who just turned 16 in January, Christian Früchtl. He was 15 years old when he joined Bayern Munich's pro team for the winter training camp in Qatar. A young man who, of course, still has a couple of years of youth academy training in front of him and some youth seasons, I suppose. But he's regularly training with Tapalovic and Bayern Munich's backup goalkeepers. So certainly an interesting prospect and one man to watch out for. Sven Ulreich sustained an injury in Qatar on the last day of the training camp. Really bad news for him there, but he's back in action, has been back in action for a few weeks now, and is certainly ready to fill in for Manuel Neuer if needed in the upcoming weeks. This is on the left, Toni Tapalovic, an important influence in this impressive career that Manuel Neuer has shown us. And just in the background, walking through the screen, was the third goalkeeper, Tom Starke. Great goalkeeping team, great atmosphere within this hard-working goalkeeping team, as Manuel Neuer always emphasizes. You can see these exercises here. They're sure to tire out the goalkeepers at the end of the day. Tom Starke, not quite sure what happened there, but if you see these exercises, it's no surprise that professional goalkeepers in the modern game are so quick off their feet. That was a little too quick for Tom Starke. Oh, that was a better at the end there by Tom Starke. That's how you manage these exercises best. Let's go back to this short passing exercise. Always a crucial part of Pep Guardiola's training program, simply because that's exactly what's required of a Bayern professional nowadays. If you watch the Bayern games closely, you'll see that, I'd say, 80 to 90% of the game takes place within 30, 40 yards, and most of it is in the half of the opponent. That means no time, no space, quick reactions, great ball handling skills. That's what you need if you want to be successful at Bayern Munich, and that's what these exercises obviously support. You can probably recognize this player as he walks out. That's Juan Bernat. Like Xabi Alonso, he is conducting an individual training program today. Just individual running exercises. No serious injuries to be concerned about, just taking it a little easy here. And if you're a little confused about what's going on in this exercise, you'd be forgiven. It's a 5 against 3 exercise, 5 players on the outside, 3 in the center trying to get the ball. A little late for this explanation now as they discontinue it, and the 2 players in green, Sebastian Rode, who just took his shirt off, and Rafinha are so-called free agents. If you've watched Bayern live trainings before, you know these exercises. This year with mascot Bernie is the Bayern Munich Kids Club, a youth club, youth program for young Bayern fans in numbers, in membership numbers, I think bigger than the second biggest football club in Germany. They have a special spot reserved for them here at the training facilities where they can get really close to the Bayern stars and where they have first dibs, first shot on autographs. They're going to be hoping that this man, Franck Ribéry, will visit them after the training session. Ribéry, one of the, if not the most popular man at Bayern Munich, and you can see it here at these training facilities every time there is a public training sessions. The calls and chants for Ribéry's signature and pictures are the loudest here. We had the opportunity to talk to Philipp Lahm recently about the impression Ribéry is making after his lengthy injury, and he agrees with everyone else. Here they are playing together, that Ribéry is in fantastic form and in a fantastic mood. No surprises there. He's one of these players who loves nothing more than to be out on the pitch, to train, to be together with the team, to play in front of his fans. And he's not lost much of his touch. Hermann Gerland, nearly the victim of a Ribéry attack there. Good performances recently for Bayern Munich. He admits himself he'll still need more time, more match practice to regain his normal form and strength. Nice touch of the ball there by Philipp Lahm, who incidentally, and I know it's hard to believe, but he scored a goal yesterday that I'd categorize as goal of the year material. And I know it does seem very hard to believe, but we have footage, we have proof. You'll be able to see that on our social media channels, along with a lot of other background and in-depth videos now and in the next few days. Make sure you keep an eye out for Philipp Lahm and his goal of the year shot yesterday in training, a volley that hit the bottom of the bar, slammed the bottom of the bar, really to entertain all the fans that were here yesterday already. Another public training session, and as you can see, we have official public school holidays, Easter holidays in Germany. That means that a lot of fans come to Munich Zebener Street, use this opportunity to watch their favorite players train up close, and particularly this season, it really is more fun to come here as a fan in these national team breaks with Philipp Lahm, Xabi Alonso, who's not here today but usually is, and Franck Ribéry, who are always part of these training groups following their retirement. And again, this year we have a few, or regularly a few players here who are battling to recover from injury. Today, Javi Martinez on the pitch, and also earlier, just a brief glimpse there of Jerome Boateng. So here is the first proper exercise of the day. Let's see what Dominic Torrent, Luenzo Bonaventura, Andreas Kornmeier, and all of that under the guidance and instruction of Pep Guardiola, what they've come up with today. Andreas Kornmeier explains it. Let's see if you, and let's see if I can figure out what the point of the upcoming exercise is.
Gut. Okay, komm.
Gut. Super. Zack. Hep, ja. Zack, rum. Ja. Ja, Frankie, ja. Gut, super. Und Ball. Zack, okay, gut. Scheiße von mir. Ich weiß schon, weiter. Gut, super. Zack, 1, 2, 3 und weg. Ja. Fahr. Gut. Okay, und noch.
Perfekt, Frankie, hier.
Zack, und weg. Und nach vorne weg. Und komm. Hep, ja. Zack, drumrum. Ja, noch einmal drumrum. Richtig um die Pylone.
Tak.
Okay. Engen Ball führen.
Gut.
Okay.
Sehr gut, diagonal.
Ja.
Hier.
Bisschen länger. Ja, Hep, gut. Nach vorne. Und Mario, komm, schau. Pack, ja, zack. Hep, ja, drumrum. Gut, super. Und mir passen. Zack und weg. 3 Farben.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what the point of this exercise is. Just a little harder to actually conduct it properly. Here's part 2.
Gut. Hep, ja. Weg. Ja, gut und weg.
I suppose a fairly similar exercise, a little more possession for the players there, and the whole thing, of course,
Nein, einfach vorbei. Nicht springen.
from the other direction. Here's Franck Ribéry conducting it.
Zack, ja. Genau. Gut, super. Genau. Und wieder Pass und weg. Gut.
Again, for those of you who've watched Bayern training sessions, this comes as no surprise. Nearly all the exercises of Pep Guardiola and his coaching team incorporate various elements: dribbling, passing, physical aspects, sprinting,
Sehr gut, Rafa.
strengthening exercises, and finally, shots on goal.
Gut. Und weg nach vorne. Zack. Ja. Und komm. Ball. Hep. Ja, gut. Rum. Und weg.
Ein bisschen mehr, hey, noch ein bisschen mehr. Komm. Weg.
Zack. Gut. Und weg. Und der nächste schon.
Komm. Gut. Sehr gut, komm. Doppelpass. Sehr gut.
Gut. Und weg nach vorne. Komm.
Ein bisschen mehr
Ja. Und Sebastian kannst
Ein
schon.
bisschen mehr schnell hier.
Sebastian geht
Ein
schon.
bisschen mehr schnell. Ein
Zack.
Spieler.
Ja. Gut. Und der nächste. Gut, Frankie.
Ja. Mit 3 ist genug. Komm.
Gut.
Zack.
Super. Frankie. Genau. Gut.
Gut.
Papp.
Sehr gut.
Gut.
Ja, perfekt. Gut. Vamos, Frank.
Ja.
Ist alles schnell.
Und weg nach
Alles
vorne.
schnell.
Gut.
Nicht springen, aber schnell.
Zack. Ja.
Gut, Frank. Komm.
Gut. Und weg.
Wir sind perfekt. In this perfekt.
Jetzt.
Gut. Vamos, schnell, Hedling.
Ja. Und weg nach vorne. Gut. Leise stark. Komm. Ball kommt.
Sehr gut.
Ja, hip.
Ball, hopp. Die andere, fertig, komm.
Gut. Und weiter.
Hopp, perfekt. Gut. Now, tak. Gut. Vamos, komm.
Gut.
Du Ritmo,
Ja,
komm,
und
nach
weg.
vorne, nach hinten, komm.
Gut.
Sehr gut.
Zack. Ja.
Va,
Komm.
mit 2 oder 3,
So
komm.
eine Ball erwarten. Komm. Zack.
Okay, pass. Komm, schnell, die andere, nach vorne. Pass. Gut. Now, diagonal, gut Ritmo. Tak. Komm. Va, bitte, tak.
Super, genau.
Let's see if Philipp Lahm can repeat yesterday's achievement. As always, he knows exactly how to conduct these exercises, but can he score beautiful goals? Yes or no? It's more likely to happen in training than in the game, I suppose.
Gut.
Sehr gut, Rafita, komm. Vamos, Rafa.
There is
Vamos, Rafa.
Rafinha, earlier Serdar Taski.
Now with Ned.
Sehr gut, sehr gut, sehr gut.
So as you can see, it's not as if the coaches are making life easier or holding back in training just because a few players are missing.
Ja.
These exercises have, of course, the point of training the players comprehensively, the physical parts, speed, endurance, strength, passing, shooting. And on the other hand, there's a psychological aspect of great importance to this as well. Many coaches have commented on how important of a part of their job it has become to entertain the players to a certain extent, because of course a player who enjoys training will also record better training results. I had the opportunity to talk to Xabi Alonso in the winter training camp in Qatar, and he says in his experience this is a development that's pretty recent, only a couple of years old, that coaches really go out of their way to come up with different exercises basically in each and every training session to keep players on the ball, so to speak, to keep them entertained. And Pep Guardiola is certainly a master. Again, he's sprinting in between the exercises. Before that, quick changes in direction, short bursts of strength, then the passing, then the shooting. You can watch it here. After the shot, a sprint part before the players reach the next exercise. This is, again, if you've been following the live training sessions at Bayern for a while, you know this is, while not an exercise that you've seen before, it's similar to what Pep Guardiola and his coaching staff demand of their players pretty much every time. And this here is Serdar Taski, bought in winter, hired in winter to feature as a backup and a replacement for the injured centre-backs, Javi Martinez and Jerome Boateng, Holger Badstuber as well. That was, of course, before Pep Guardiola surprised us with the magic trick there of pulling Josep Kimmich out of the hat, and before subsequently Josep Kimmich surprised us with one more impressive performance than the other in his competitive performances since.
Draai, en pausa.
Okay.
Ja, rapida. Good. Se va. Okay. Finish. Okay, go. Good.
Gut so, gut so. Gut.
Tak. Kom.
Gut, Serdar.
Prima. 5 minuten pauze.
Ja. Zack, und komm. Komm, schnell. Ja, gut. Und weg nach vorne.
5 minuten pauze. Goed.
Pauze. Zeit auf ihn.
You can see the players breathing quite heavily there. As I mentioned, while this looks fun and is fun and is supposed to be fun and to keep the players focused, concentrated and on the ball, there is a lot of physicality about these exercises as well, and the players certainly feel the exercises later on. Franck Ribéry can't get enough of the training sessions. In the background, Philipp Lahm, retired from the German national team at the perfect moment after the World Cup victory 2014, and says himself it's not so much the physical break, it's not so much the fact that retiring from Germany helps him extend his career because he doesn't have to play as many matches anymore. It's more about the ability to switch off a little bit, to be able to train for a couple of days without having to focus immediately on the next game, just to take a breath every once in a while and just to be able to enjoy training, not having to think about who's the opponent, not having to go through or team sessions, coaching meetings where you video analyze opponents, opposition players, opposition tactics, and so on and so forth, but where you can just be outside, play football for a little bit. In this case, juggle around with the football for a little bit. Easier for the players. Pep Guardiola and his coaching staff always have to come up with sensible exercises. And here we go. Round 2. Let's see how heavily the players breathe after this one.
Good. Apona, la gente, mit dem Ball. Komm. Erling, hop, Technik, pass. Perfect. Now Drew. Komm. Druge Pass. Tack. Perfekt, Seba. Sehr gut. Sehr gut, Seba.
Gut, super.
Vamos, Rafita, elige.
Ja.
Good.
Ja, gut.
Volver a la mitad del campo.
Ja, geht. Ein bisschen mehr.
Vamos, full segundo, komm. Vamos, sec.
Ja, gut.
Well, here's the goal of the day. It's fascinating to see when you watch these young players how well they are able to conduct these training exercises, and as a consequence, it's no surprise that when young players come out of Bayern's youth academy, they're pretty much always able to at least play along with the Bayern team. Maybe they're not always able to make a real impact on the Bayern games, but if you look at the last couple of youth players to come out, even those who aren't at Bayern anymore, even those who didn't play very often, they can definitely all play along with the Bayern team, and that's because of these kind of exercises. It's because they hone their physical development, obviously, but more than anything else, their passing, shooting skills. And if you've ever played in a football club in your life before, you'll know that on an amateur level, to try and conduct this kind of an exercise looks very different indeed. That's no fun for a coach to try to incorporate all these different elements into a training session for, let's say, normal football players. Sven Ulreich laughing at Javi Martinez there for this attempted chip there. Let's see if some of the upcoming youth players can deliver more dangerous shots on goal. Certainly not Javi Martinez's job, though.
Ja, und weg.
Drei, komm. Sehr gut. Ja, diagonal. Hopp, un segundo.
Gut, Sebastian, komm, zack, ja. Ja.
Gut, Seba.
Frankie.
Drei Aktionen, Seba. Go.
Ja.
Good save there by Christian Früchtel. Again, here he is, that young man. Oof, that was an impossible shot to save. Frank Ribéry. with the goal.
Good.
I'm sure you can imagine this looks like a fun little exercise for 1 or 2 run-throughs. I think after number 10, 11 or 12 is when it starts to get pretty hard on the legs. I don't think that quite worked out the way it should have. There's another beautiful goal.
Gut. Schneller weiter.
Vamos, Eva. Eva no, toda adentro. Vamos. Un segundo, Eva.
Sehr gut, Philipp. Sehr gut. Rafa.
Vamos, Rafita. Come, Rafa. Come, Rafa.
Vamos, caballo.
Truc. Vamos. Laufe en Mitte, normal. Laufe en Mitte, normal. Gut, sehr gut.
Ja, und weg. Gut.
Sehr gut. Luca.
Komm.
Vamos, Martínez.
Ja, und nach vorne weg.
Martínez.
Gut. Ball.
Venga, derecha al side. Acción.
Ja.
Gut.
Da brauche ich eine Leuchtweste. Ja, gut, komm.
Derecha al side.
Das ist meine Película.
Vamos. Lude, aber laufen. Komm. Gut.
Ja, gut, Sebastian. Gut.
Gut. Ja, Fuß in den Diagonal.
Komm. Zack, ja.
Philipp.
Aber jetzt geht es.
Stark.
Ja, gut,
Vamos,
Sebastian, komm,
Eva.
weiter.
Hopp. Druck.
Gut, Frankie, Ball. Gut.
Komm.
Ja.
Vamos, Eva.
Gut.
Venga, leche acciones. Komm. Vamos, Frankie. Toma, Frankie. Gut.
Komm. Und weg, komm.
Sehr gut, Frank. Sehr gut,
Zack.
Rimmi. Gut, Rafita, gut.
Ball.
Vamos, Martínez. Vamos, tu gol. Opa, gut. Vamos.
Geht, komm. Ja, Ball mitnehmen bei den Pylonen, nicht vergessen. Okay. Dann haben wir spielen. Gut, weg nach vorne. Ball kommt. Komm, zack.
Leche acciones, komm.
Ja.
Leche acciones. Hopp. Gut, fenomenal.
Zack. Gut. Und weg.
Super. Venga, poco me
Ja,
metió.
und weg nach vorne. Und Ball schauen. Gut. Sehr gut.
Gut, komm. Vamos de esta acciones, komm. Sehr gut, komm.
Well, pretty much a perfect execution there by Sanataski. Good save too by Tom Starke though.
Gut.
No problem for the coaching staff when it comes to player motivation at Bayern. I think you can see in between the exercises, players really trying to use every inch of the pitch they can get to
Gut, super.
take a breath here. You could probably hear it in the background, some heavy breathing going on there. I'm not quite sure if it was I assume it was the players, not our cameramen, who are doing a great job with these live training sessions as well.
Dame el gol.
And as I mentioned, this just keeps going on. Fun for the first few times,
Gut.
and after a while, it just gets harder and harder.
Ok, vamos, Martínez. Venga, última carrera. Va.
I think a little break now.
Good.
was trinken, ausland, gell? Fahren rein.
Vamos, come.
Youth players as motivated as always to impress Pep Guardiola and his coaching staff.
Gut, super, gut und weiter.
Sehr gut, sehr gut, sehr gut.
Time for a break for the Bayern players. It's possible that this was in fact the end of this exercise. We have goals in the on the pitch here lined up for what I'm sure the fans here are hoping will be a little training match. And Dominic Torrent, looking at his list here, running around with some blue shirts. We might be in for a little treat there. Of course, that's always most exciting, most fun for the fans to actually watch something that resembles a football game. Quite often, these little training matches have some little twists and turns to themselves. You can see, and that's very typical, normal under Pep Guardiola. The games are played on a very small pitch, not even half the size of the actual football pitch. There are some little yellow hats you can see in the background that mark the sidelines. As always, I think it's safe to say, in these training matches, the coaches simulate what happens in real life, and that is that, again, 90% of the game takes place in very small areas on the pitch. Usually, most of it takes part in the half of the opponent. Let's see if we'll have an odd green shirt here as well for some free agents. That's something that Pep Guardiola likes to include as well. This man in the background, Manuel Neuer, not here. The fans hoping that Franck Ribéry can entertain them, and now with some spectacular moves. I'm sure he will. Ribéry just said he'd love to stay a little longer at Bayern and extend his contract past 2017. This looks like Holger Badstuber on the bike, if I'm not mistaken. Working, as is everyone else, on his physical condition. In his case, of course, working on his recovery process. All the centre backs injured at the most crucial part of the season, with the prospect of Javi Martinez returning after this national team break. Jerome Boateng will hopefully follow shortly afterwards. Even without them, though, Bayern has managed to achieve remarkable defensive statistics with that combination that we've become accustomed to in recent weeks. Alaba and Kimmich in the centre, Benatia and Tusky as backup, so to speak. Let's see. Here we have, seems to be pretty straightforward training game. Red team against blue team. No free agents, no, as far as I can tell, no touch rules, one touch, two touch, anything like that. Just red against blue. Let's see if the Bayern players can entertain us with some goals. Does seem to have an offside rule here as well. That's not always the case in these training matches. Rafinha, Tusky, Lam, at least on one team. So let's enjoy this training match. That was a beautiful goal there by Franck Ribéry. I think overall this exercise illustrates quite well why the coaches choose to have the players compete with each other on small pitches, not even half size. This is what, a third size of the pitch. It's difficult to create chances. It's difficult to defend, of course, but even more difficult to create chances, to score goals here on this restricted area. Every once in a while you need to rely on individual class, and Ribéry just gave us proof of that with a beautiful goal. Pep Guardiola never tires to remind us that it is the individual class of players like Ribéry, Costa, Coman, Robben that is needed in the modern game to break through defensive strongholds, to overcome defensive lines consisting of 4 or 5 players, and these defensive lines supported by midfield lines that are also really only focusing on defense. Again, 10 yards away from goal, you can't get a clean shot on it. It illustrates the difficulties that the Bayern team has all the time. Something else you'll see in these exercises, and again, if you've watched Bayern training sessions in the past, then this comes as nothing new to you, but if, for instance, Team Blue takes a shot on goal and it's deflected for what would be a corner, then the goalkeeper of Team Blue will immediately roll the ball back out so as not to cause any interruptions. This one went past the target, and Tom Starke kicks the ball out to Serdar Taski. I'll give you an example. When it comes up, again, if Ulreich in theory saves the ball out for a theoretical corner, then in this case Tom Starke would roll that ball out very quickly to his teammates from the back so that there's no interruptions in this game at all. But this kind of a game, even if it's a straightforward football game, illustrates quite beautifully what difficulties the Bayern players have. That's certainly an offside there if offsides apply here. Short passing, one-touch football, top-level ball handling skills is what's required, and you can see in the faces and the body language of the players, while they love to play football, this is not a walk in the park. All this controlled by Hermann Gerland, Bayern icon, and Bochum icon, and Youth Academy icon, the assistant of this man, Pep Guardiola. He'll also use the next couple days. We have one more training session tomorrow, and then on Thursday, I believe, check out the website for exact times. And then a couple days break where most players will either leave town or enjoy a few quiet days with their families. I talked to Jerome Boateng earlier, who was laughing, and he said, well, there's no Easter holiday for me this time. He just received news that he can increase the pace of his individual training program, but he also said he had enough time to laze about. First 2-3 weeks after his injury, he basically had to hold still and do nothing at all. He's ready for action, and like all the other Bayern players, extremely diligent, particularly when it comes to working on injury recovery programs. Order and an optimistic double pass there by Franck Ribéry. This is one of these scenes. The ball goes out of bounds for what would be a throw-in, and immediately Sven Ulreich rolls the ball out to the best man he can find, so as not to give the blue team any time to take a breath here and recover. That's part of the exercise strategy here, to avoid any unnecessary breaks, to keep the pace high. Philipp Lahm trying another one of these long-range shots. Every once in a while you've got to do it. That's the only way you're going to get forward. Everybody trying a spectacular pass to Sebastian Rode. So it seems as if the football game exercise is over here. The players have been out on the pitch for more than an hour, and at Bayern it's common and normal for the players to actually warm up indoors to train a lot. So I think we're coming towards